Hey everybody, Crash Helmet here. Check out this awesome video.
Welcome back everybody. In this video, I'm going to show you how I painted this Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing to match the 2021 Indian Scout Bobber 20 front and rear fairings. Now I apologize because I lost the beginning of the video. I had some technical difficulties. It erased the video. So the prep is not going to be shown. The start of laying down the flake on here got cut out as well. And I apologize. Unfortunately, my camera dumped my SD card and I lost all that footage. But the rest of it we'll go through, and I'm probably gonna voice over it because I lost audio as well. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, go ahead, hit the like button. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and help me build this community. All right, guys, rock on. Okay, so here we go. Unfortunately, the masking got deleted, but what I'm fixing to do right now is use an adhesion promoter and go over the black areas. I'm just misting this first coat down. You don't want to go too heavy because it'll run and it won't flash properly. So you want it light and smooth. All right, it's been 10 minutes or more, so we're gonna come back and do this. What I wanna do though is, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure there's no contaminants on here. It's not a bad thing to do in between spraying coats sometimes, especially if you're doing it outside of a spray booth. All right. Second coat. Again, just kind of misting it on, not heavy. All right. Second coat is done. Okay, while that second coat's done, I'm going to mix up our very first base color, which is going to be different. This is going to be a micro flake, which I'm using a micro flake from Paint with Pearl. This is a color shift aqua blue to purple. It's basically a micro flake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bottle and I'll mix it up. So this is my carrier, or an intercoat clear. So this is a mix 1-to-1. So what that means is I'm going to mix half this bottle with the intercoat and then half of it with reducer. That's so it will flow correctly. So, as you can see, it was very scientific measuring. Now what I'm going to do is take this little spoon and we're going to add this flake to it. So this one is not very scientific. I'm basically just going with what I feel is correct. And I don't know if you can see how that now has like a sparkly look to it, and it suspends that all in there with that inner coat. Go just a little bit heavier on these. Just to make sure. I don't want to go too much. You don't want to overdo it because then it won't spray very correctly. You don't want it really clogging, but I got that. The cool stuff about this, and let me see if I can get it in there so you can kind of see that. It'll focus. Suspended in there. So what's really cool is once this hits the black, it'll change colors. So I'm gonna let that this fairing sit for a little bit longer. We'll come back and spray it. All right, so let's spray down the flake now. In the first couple of layers, you won't see a big change. You might be able to see a little bit. You can start seeing some of the green in here. All right, we'll let that one sit up. All right, so we'll lay down the second coat now. And then take another look at it. Pardon me, my microphone cable. So you can see, probably gonna take one or two more coats, and then we can start the design on it. All right, so here I'm spraying down basically a mask so I can spray and layer my colors. When I spray my colors, then I'll wipe off the masking and just repeat the process. So I use about 4 or 5 colors here. There's a few that got missed. But as you can see, you can start seeing the pattern here. This is what actually adds that great depth to this design. And also it adds, when it runs, it gives you these cool runs in it. It's like the 3D effect. It's really a great look. Now I just wipe down and make sure there's no imperfections, there's no dust in here. And now I'm stippling a couple of colors on here with candies. So you can see the stippling, the little dots on there. You start to see the effect of how deep it is and layered. So now, of course, this is the unmasking process. I sped it up because it was boring, but you get the idea so you can see how it looks. And now I'm doing inner coat clear over the whole thing. so when I come back later to scuff it. So here's the process. I'm going and back masking this blue. So first I'm going to use a fine line tape so I can get around these corners. And you want to line it up as close as you can to the edge, but leave just a little bit of overhang of the blue so that when I go over with my next base color, I don't have any black showing through. It'll match up and it'll kind of knock down the edge just a little bit. So once I'm sure that I've got it on there, I'm going to take my 1/2 inch tape and go back over that 1/4 inch fine line tape just to make sure that I'm not going to have any bleed through on my next color, because it'll show up. And once you put clear down, you're pretty much ruined that part of the process. So I'll cut it here so I can go around this curve. 1/2 inch tape doesn't like to curve quite like fine line tape. You can get the vinyls that'll work, but this one won't. That's good. So now I'm going to do the other side. I'm just speeding up the process because you don't want to see it all over again. But you just take your time, make sure that you have it masked out just right so that you don't have any overlap. And then here I'm just taking transfer tape, masking tape, and then I go over every point of contact where it overlays so that I don't have any spray through or bleed through. Because even overspray can get up in there, and then once you do it, so here just scuffing, because that's why I put that inner coat clear down earlier. Scuff it, and here we go. I'm cleaning it, getting it ready to go for my next color, which is a dark silver, almost kind of like a galaxy gray. So the process of me laying down the lace here got skipped, but I laid down lace here. I used the 3M adhesive spray, let it sit, get tacky, laid it on how I wanted it to. Now I'm going over with a lighter silver, and this is going to give it a pretty cool effect once it's done. You just want to make sure you have full coverage and no streaking. So here it is. I'm going to unmask the whole thing now and get it ready for clear. But you can start to see the design in there. And this is the boring part of the unmasking. It's the exciting part, but in video it is the boring part. So here's a good shot you can see. It's almost kind of like a tiger snake design. So now I'm going to lay down my first coat of clear. I'm going to go pretty fast here because my next step is I'm going to mist some flake over here to give it some sparkle. So I'm kind of going fast on this first pass. It's almost kind of like a tack coat, but I don't really want it to set up before I'm able to spray my flake on here. So I'm using a Flake King and some Slow Rider Series flake. And I'm just barely hitting it, just misting it. Flake can get pretty annoying if you spray a lot of it. It's almost like you punch Tinkerbell right in the face and it's everywhere. So now I'm taking an air hose. What I'm doing here is I'm gonna blow this down and I'm gonna knock the flake that's either loose or standing on edge after I become a professional and put my gloves on, of course. You know. But here I am, okay, so we're gonna blow any excess flake, any loose flake, any flake that's standing up. This will help it lay down. So when you go back over with your clear, you're not gonna have as many rough areas. And it helps when you go to cut and buff. That cutting process will be a little bit quicker. And now this is what they call the string method. This is how good way to check your clear. So when you touch it like that, you pull it up. You want to see if strings pull up. So if you have strings almost kind of like spider webs, it's not quite ready for your next coat. So here goes, this is coat number 2 of clear. I'm gonna go slower and do my overlaps to make sure I have good coverage and that the clear just melts into itself. And you want to just make sure you get full coverage. You don't want to have any dry spray areas. You don't want to go too heavy where you're going to start running, because you can run the paint underneath if you go too heavy with your clear. Of course, you can run your clear also. That just leaves some more work on the end process. Okay guys, that's it. If you haven't already, go hit that subscribe button in the butt. All right. Punch the like button in the face with that bell notification. And remember, rock on.